That should hold them. What's up, visitors? It's Halloween, prime spooky season. Your chances of getting spooked skyrocket this time of year. No better way to celebrate it than to go to a haunted house. I mean, I could try trick-or-treating, but I'm starting to get a bit too old for that, and passing out candy's a punishment of its own, so haunted house time. Man, this is a budget increase, and quite boring. Luckily, I brought this, a recording of me talking about Haunted Mansion. No reason, I just like talking and listening to myself putting it inside a head lantern. You see this? Kind of funny. It works. Haunted Mansion, quite literally a mansion, which is haunted. It's a classic Disney attraction and a really bad Eddie Murphy movie. The Haunted Mansion is a dark ride attraction located at Disneyland Park, Disneyland Resort, Magic Kingdom, Walt Disney World, Tokyo Disneyland, Disneyland Park in Paris, and Hong Kong Disneyland. Although each location differs in design, I'm reading the Wikipedia article on the Haunted Mansion ride. You're welcome. Haunted Mansion is one of the most classic Disney rides, like, ever. When you think of Disney parks, this is probably one of the 4 rides which comes to you immediately. Think about it. Even after 50 years of existence, like it is up there with Pirates of the Caribbean, Big Thunder Mountain, and Fetching Superstar Limo. And how did it start, you may ask? And I say, pfft, of course you didn't ask that. I should get to the story about the ballroom spider, but nope, I'm gonna make you suffer. Too late, I'm already talking about the history of Haunted Mansion, so get in the Doom buggy and let's get moving. Come on, I was playing Doom.
Please remain seated. Keep all hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the Doom chair at all times. I am your host. Your ghost host.
Can I add you on Twitter? The Haunted Mansion is an idea which is almost as old as Disneyland itself, going as far back as the original 1951 plans where the park was supposed to be across the street from the Disney studios. The legendary Harper Goff drew the first ever piece of concept art for what would become the Haunted Mansion. Well, it's Haunted Mansion, what did you expect? No, this is in 1951, yet the first Haunted Mansion ride didn't open until August of 1969, so what exactly happened? Well, life happened. The idea of Haunted Mansion was shelved for some time, and yes, gained a lot of cobwebs. Yes, I had to make that. But after the war zone of an opening day at Disneyland, where people's feet melted into the cement and the water died, things changed. Now with the foundation set for future attractions, it was time to look at what's next. A mountain. Alongside the monorail and Matterhorn bobsleds, a New Orleans-themed Miniland was in the works, which was going to be located on the edge of Adventureland and would be at the banks of the rivers of America. 2 attractions were listed with this new land when it was announced via a new souvenir map. A pirate wax museum and a haunted house walkthrough, neither of which happened. The Pirate Wax Museum eventually became the Pirates of the Caribbean boat ride and was opened in March of 1967, but the Haunted Mansion was in a more wacky development cycle. Major inspiration for the mansion came from the Winchester Mystery House and the Shipley Lydecker House. That was known for pretty much the entire time, but everything else was jumping around. The ride once was considered to be a boat ride, but most of the time it was a walk-through attraction. One concept had a story of a captain killing his wife and hanging himself. Yes, this was a concept made by Disney. Now that is a concept I wouldn't want to meet in a darkened out alleyway. Another was a museum of the weird. Yes, I would have loved to be in it. But the Imagineers changed it to an Omnimover because, look, I have treadmill legs. Even though the ride itself wasn't completed in 1963, its exterior mansion was. For a long time, the building just stood there, a shell of what would be. This was due to various reasons. The Walt Disney Company got busy with working on stuff for the New Year's World Fair, where Disney saw more value in rides sponsored by the state of Illinois, Pepsi-Cola, and Ford. Yes, It's a Small World was sponsored by Pepsi. Pepsi! After the fair, Disney would have begun work on Haunted Mansion for like the 6th time, but the ride was reworked again after Walt Disney passed away. But it eventually came to be. Haunted Mansion opened to all visitors in New Orleans Square at Disneyland in Anaheim, California on August 12, 1969. That took them 18 years. The idea of Haunted Mansion was older than me before it even was opened. The basic story setup for Haunted Mansion is as it goes. 1. Visitors enter a scary room. 2. Somewhat scary thing happens. 3. Enter new room. That is the basic premise for all haunted houses, and at some point they did have actors jump out of guests, but of course it didn't stick around for long. But what made Haunted Mansion unique was the character of the ride. It wasn't a typical haunted house. It had lots of lore poured into it and more than scary ghosts. The hitchhiking ghosts, Hatbox Ghost, Madame Leota, the happy haunts inside gave the haunted house a more lively and unique feeling. This led to it just being beloved by almost everyone. It's a pretty dang good ride, and that's why it's still popular today. Haunted Mansion expectedly was a massive success. Well, like, what did you expect? It got like a bunch of successors and had Eddie Murphy movies, so like, of course. So then it prompted a Haunted Mansion 2.0.
Welcome to the Hall of Horrors, where the scariest of the scariest wait for you.
Yeah. I already have a date. Well, no, not really.
Oh, poor Vatican City. You'll get someone eventually.
Everybody forgets about Vatican City. While making the props and audio animatronics for the Disneyland version, they made two of pretty much everything. One would be used for the Disneyland version, and the second would be used for the upcoming DisneyWorld version, which would open on the same day as the park. In Magic Kingdom, Haunted Mansion is located in Liberty Square. There are some differences between the two versions, too. The DisneyWorld version is a bit differently in terms of its exterior facade almost immediately. I can't explain it. It fits into Liberty Square much better than it would have if it was just New Orleans. The Disney World version is also a bit longer, not by a whole lot, but it has a few extra scenes in it. Overall, the two are pretty much the same thing, but when we visit the foreign parks outside of the United States, it starts to change more. So let's make a quick exception, Tokyo Disneyland. Tokyo Disneyland's Haunted Mansion is pretty much the same one as in Walt Disney World. It is now located in Fantasyland. Wow, they are consistent. This decision was made because in Japanese culture, ghosts are more fairy tales than they are horror icons. But this is where it truly starts to get wacky. Phantom Manor is the haunted mansion at the originally called Euro Disney, or, Money Disney if you translate it properly. It opened day and date with the park on April 12, 1992. When imagining rides for the European park, Imagineering legend Tony Baxter, you can tell he's important if I put a, legendary before their name, thought it would be best to reimagine certain rides to better fit the new cultural landscape. So they came up with the Phantom Manor, a darker version of Haunted Mansion inspired by tales like Phantom of the Opera and Great Expectations. The Phantom Manor had an entire page's worth of lore stored on its Wikipedia article, so no, I'm not reading that. But to say the story of this ride is also sort of linked to Big Thunder Mountain, so yeah, this is now in Frontierland. Yada yada, protective father kills all of his daughter's lovers, they all come back to haunt him, yada yada, everybody dies. Overall, this ride's more interesting in concept. It is, Phantom Manor. I don't want to get into this lore, but holy cow! And now we head on to the last haunted mansion in the world. What the heck? Mystic Manor, guess where it is now? Not in Frontierland, that's for sure. Mystic Manor is the first haunted mansion-esque haunted mansion to not be an omnimover. Instead, Mystic Manor uses trackless vehicles and tons of more modern effects in it. Mystic Manor opened on May 17, 2013 at Hong Kong Disneyland as part of a series of new expansions to the park because guess what? It wasn't doing good. It's weird, the main character of the ride is a monkey. Similar to Phantom Manor, they reimagined the ride to fit the new cultural landscape. In Chinese culture, ghosts are more religious figures. It is where we go after death, so this can be very offensive. I clearly know a lot. I watched Mulan. Overall, Phantom Manor and Mystic Manor both have a lot of lore and just a lot of things to talk about the rides themselves where they could be their own videos, but overall, Haunted Mansion is one of the most iconic Disney park rides ever. It's in almost every single Disney resort. The only one it isn't in is Shanghai. Hey Tank, why don't you do a breakdown of the ride scene by scene? Of course not. Do I look like a ride POV? I can say certain facts about certain scenes. Yeah, sure, I need some more runtime.
You may see that some of our guests are having a rather dandy night tonight.
Can I join?
No.
Pepperbox Ghost, I probably said it wrong. I hope you all know how it works because I never have. But there was this floating spider in the ballroom scene. That is because the glass which was used for the ghost effect was cracked by an, quote, dueling ghosts with guns, or in other words, a kid with a slingshot on the ride. Replacing the glass would have needed them to pretty much deconstruct the entire roof of the show building and stuff, so they fixed it with a $5 toy spider. Something that would have probably cost thousands to fix was fixed in with $5. They went to the dollar store and probably saw, ooh, that works. Hatbox Ghost was in the ride when it first opened, but his effect just wouldn't work, so they never used him again until they brought him back. Now with fixed effects in recent years, and yeah, that's cool. I dressed up as him once. But here's the most terrifying fact. The Haunted Mansion film is canon. The House Master of the Haunted Mansion Eddie Murphy version is canon to the right, as his name is in the graveyard. No, I'm not okay. There also was a Muppets Haunted Mansion movie. I didn't like it. What more can I say? I do like this ride. Like, Haunted Mansion is a truly classic ride. It's just can't really be replaced and never should be. It gives off a classic Disney vibe to such a great extent. A lot about it is just so fun and interesting, and honestly, if I had a lot of time, I'd be more willing to talk about it. Scene by scene, I'd love to do that, and there's definitely a lot which can be talked about it, like how, you know, some clocks in the haunted house have 13 hours instead of 12 on them? Oh yeah, the headless bride person who cuts off the head of every single one of her grooms? I gotta be real here. I think she's kinda hot.
Please go. We love guests. And we'd like one more happy haunt, but you're less of a happy haunt and more of a nightmare.
Gee, that's a nice compliment.
Just leave.
Fine, have a nice, terrible day or something.
Jeez, I can't believe this guy. Like, no respect for the deceased. Like I wouldn't want to be trapped in here for eternity with him.
Well, I disrespected the dead, tried to interrupt a skeleton rave, probably just banned myself from going to the afterlife. Well, I can live with that, but somebody stole my candy bowl.